With the paint dry and her wheels still black, our Stolly's just a couple of hours from her drenching. Morale is high, but there's one vital piece of equipment that still needs to be fitted before she can swim.
Right, no, it goes in between.
On the front of every Stolly is a sheet of plywood called a swim board. The team are hoping to drive the Stolly into the water at about 20 miles per hour, and this bit of wood is the only thing that will stop the water going over the cab and flooding the back. It's simple, but vital. When the Stolly's on the road, it's flattened against the bonnet and then lowered just prior to entering the water.
You're not still faffing around with that board?
Yeah. Is that lined up at the back? This is a nightmare, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not fun. Whack yours in.
It's low tech, everything on the Stolly, it's a pig to fit. And as Jerry and the Major, well flummoxed.
What are you doing? Why don't you turn it so it's unsquared off, and then it goes through straight away? You don't have to bang it.
We know what we're doing.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Claire, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
If Axel was really in the army, he'd be up on a charge. But finally, the Major has to admit defeat, and the squad's know-all gets a go.
Go on, you keep on whacking it. I'll give you a clue, it doesn't go in that way.
Well, go on then, just pop it through if you would.
You've got to turn it.
Well then.
I know it. I know. I mean,
would you like me to help you?
Go on, you do it. Do it.
Just give me a little bit of a tick. It's naff. It's you're at an angle like this.
I know. Up. So jumping up. Using a bit of inertia and a bit of kinetic energy. No whack it.
See, now when you get me over, it goes in.
No, hey,
Axel. It goes in.
The Stolly is now finished, but Major Ben's had no time to test it, and in an hour's time she'll be charging into the water in front of his commanding officer. If anything goes wrong, the only thing major about Ben will be the egg on his face. We are now an hour from D-Day. Our Stolly's 20-mile-per-hour dive into a 30-foot deep lake, and she's ready for inspection by her expectant owner, Ross Watley, and his Batman, Private Hurst.
That is just incredible.
I'm going to be absolutely honest with you, Ross. It's not yours. We binned it and we got a new one. It was easier.
Sure,
I'm
sure.
joking.
Did you go to the Airfix kit shop for that?
No.
Oh yeah.
Come and have a look.
That is incredible. That looks like a new one.
Oh, look at Axel putting the final touches
final touch,
to it there.
the little badge. Wow, Axel, right at the Ben. Hi, Ben.
Later, you'd have been finished.
Hi, Jerry.
It is yours. Look at the number plate.
It is ET03.
In just 6 often frustrating days, the squad have turned Ross's Stolly back exactly 33 years, to the condition she was in when she entered service with the 2nd Field Regiment of the Royal Artillery. We know she runs sweetly, but there's one question left to answer.
Does it work?
What does it work?
You know, because it looks nice, but that's just... We don't actually know whether it swims, but the signs are good. The propulsion works. We think it's watertight. We think we've got the seals right. Hang on, Ben. What I heard there was, we think it's watertight. Now, are you planning to test whether it's watertight? i.e., are you planning to try it? You're not just going to just plough into a pond somewhere?
Yes.
Yes, we are. Can you guarantee my safety? No. No. And that was the British Army. That's a bit worrying, isn't it?
Let's swim it. Let's get on with it.
Okay, everybody ready? Yeah. Okay, great.
With a slightly nervous Ross behind the wheel for the first time, the squad set off for their But before she can be launched, orders are that she's got to prove herself on dry land. Well, when I said dry... And it doesn't take the squad long to forget what a pig she's been and want one too. Soon the Stolly's flamethrower exhaust is going full tilt as the squaddies beat the Stolly to hell and back, working out a week's worth of frustration.
Oh, hang on, guys. Where's your funky night? Not my foot.
So there's no doubt that thanks to Major Ben and the squad, Ross has got himself a pretty butch 6-wheel drive truck to play with. But getting muddy was never the challenge. We want to know if this stolly will swim. So it's back in the back and off to the pond. With Major Ben's men and his commanding officer, Colonel Roger Fallows, watching on, there's one ceremony that no boat about to take its maiden voyage can ignore.
I like to remind people that this is primarily a boat, and for all we know it's never ever been in the water. So we start off with a naming ceremony, and Claire is going to name this boat.
Why Claire?
Why Claire? Because ladies always name boats.
Well,
they
surely
are
that should be
she's.
Jerry. Jerry should be
They
doing
are she's, and therefore ladies not name them. And Ross doesn't know what this vehicle's called yet.
I don't know what you've named.
Well, you want to be here to see what it's called then?
Oh, you've got a name.
Ready? When we're ready.
Oh, you've
After
got
Claire.
to
After
first.
Claire.
I named the ship Daffy. God bless all those who sail in her.
She's now ready for launch, but the stolly throws up one more problem. Noel Axel has fixed the swim board in the up position, and the Colonel's not looking amused as it's out with the hammer again.
Could have drained the lake and driven across the bottom by now.
Swim board extended, and with Sergeant Paul at the wheel, we're ready for the metamorphosis. Can our stolly turn from truck to boat? As the engine revs, Major Ben's reputation is about to be put to the test. The first dip is going to be a pretty leisurely affair, especially as I'm in the back. Success! The squad have managed to create an 8-ton pedalo.
That was just the most amazing thing.
I was hanging out at the back because the way it was going down, I thought, I don't like the look of this. I mean, how far up did the water come?
It came, I guess, about a foot just up over the bottom of the windscreen and then dropped down again. And the whole wagon bobbed down, and we just powered at like 8 knots across the lake.
Ben, you must be pleased.
I'm delighted. I'm delighted. My heart was in my mouth when it first went in, but seeing it level off and just go over that lake was just magnificent. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
I'll be honest with you, when it levelled off, I was a lot happier as well. It's a bit scary. You look down, it just...
Well, I was staggered how much water, even going at that slow pace, how much water came up the front of the vehicle, and those in the cab must have thought, hang on,
yeah,
it's in the submarine.
Roger, what did you think of it?
Well, I never had any doubt about it, really. It was good to see it swim again. It was great. I mean, the whole team's done bloody well.
They've worked really hard.
They have.
It's Claire. Claire's nodding vigorously in the background
I'm
there.
completely overexcited at work.
Now you might think it was great, it's faint praise from the Colonel, but it's a lot better than what he would have said if we'd sunk. But if she had ever seen action, our stolly would not have been gently descending into the water like some Edwardian bathing queen. She'd have had to charge at it full tilt, and that was the challenge we set for ourselves right at the start. Mile per hour dive.
We're just discussing whether you should sort of go in at speed and maybe push an out.
I'm game.
Yeah.
I'm game. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're all for it.
Come on.
They're all
Yeah,
for
absolutely. Yeah, let's do it.
Last afternoon.
it. Do you want to?
Okay, we'll give
You
it a
go.
go.
Hatches down. You've got to go.
A 100% success. But Major Ben and the squad weren't going to let Ross get away without his own personal soaking.
To come round.
Ben, hi.
We give this vehicle back to you.
Don't forget you can chat to Claire and Lee at channel4.com science. Another tricky salvage operation at the same time, 8 o'clock next Monday, and tomorrow at 8 the story of the V1 and V2 rockets, Hitler's vengeance weapons, told in battle stations.
Oh, cheers, folks. That's one.